Stop right there if you think rental property investing is your ticket to easy money. I'm about to save you from what could be the most expensive mistake of your life. Hi, I'm Claude Shacklett with the Lifetime Client Group at Samson Properties in Odenton, Maryland. And I need to have an uncomfortable conversation with you about rental property investing. The truth is, this business isn't for everyone. Getting it wrong doesn't just mean losing some money. It can completely wipe out your financial future. I've seen too many people jump into rentals thinking it's passive income, only to find themselves drowning in debt, dealing with nightmare tenants, and losing sleep every night. But here's the thing. I've also seen people build incredible wealth through rental properties. The difference between success and disaster comes down to three specific traits that successful rental investors all share. Let me explain exactly these traits and, more importantly, help you determine whether rental investing is right for your situation. Because if you don't have these three things, you must walk away right now. But if you do have them, rental properties might be the wealth building strategy that changes your life. Let's start with the first trait of every successful rental investor: financial stability with substantial cash reserves. This is where most people get it completely wrong. They see those late night TV commercials or YouTube ads promising you can get started with no money down. That's not just misleading, it's dangerous. Here's the reality of what you actually need financially before you even think about buying your first rental property. First, you need that down payment. Most lenders require 20 to 30% down for investment properties. That means on a $300,000 property, you're looking at $60,000 to $90,000 just for the down payment. But that's just the beginning. You also need closing costs, which typically run 2 to 3% of the purchase price. So add another $6,000 to $9,000 on that same property. Then there's the inspection, appraisal, and any immediate repairs the property needs. Budget at least another $5,000 to $10,000 for these expenses. But here's where it gets essential. You need substantial reserves beyond all of that. I'm talking about money sitting in your bank account that you don't touch. Why? Because rental properties come with surprises. Your tenants move out unexpectedly, leaving you with mortgage payments and no rental income. The furnace dies in the middle of winter and needs to be replaced immediately. The roof starts leaking and causes water damage throughout the house. These aren't rare occurrences. They're normal parts of owning rental property. I recommend having at least 6 months of mortgage payments saved up as a vacancy reserve. On top of that, you need a repair and maintenance fund. A good rule of thumb is to set aside 1 to 2% of the property value annually for repairs and maintenance. You need to have $3,000 to $6,000 per year available on that $300,000 property. Let me tell you about Sarah, one of my clients who learned this lesson the hard way. She bought her first rental property with the minimum down payment and barely enough cash left over for closing costs. 3 months later, her tenant stopped paying rent. While she was going through the eviction process, which took 4 months, she had to cover the mortgage payments herself. At the same time, the property's air conditioning unit died during a heat wave. She had to choose between fixing the AC or making her own house payment. She ended up putting the repairs on a credit card and fell behind on her personal mortgage. The one rental property nearly cost her the home she lived in. Don't be Sarah. If you're struggling to make a down payment, if you're borrowing money for the purchases, or if you don't have substantial reserves, rental investing is not for you right now. Wait until your financial situation is more stable. The second trait successful rental investors share is patience and attention to detail. This might be the most underestimated aspect of rental property investing. Nearly 90% of rental property investors face significant challenges in their first few years. I'm talking about bad tenants, unexpected major repairs, extended vacancy periods, and legal issues. These aren't exceptions, they're the norm. Let me break it down what patient really means in rental investing. First, it means accepting that rental properties are a long-term wealth building strategy, not a quick profit scheme. Most successful rental investors don't see significant positive cash flow for several years. Initially, you might break even or lose a little money each month after all expenses. The real money comes from appreciation and mortgage payments over 10, 15, or 20 years. Rental properties aren't the answer if you need immediate income or quick returns. Patience also means dealing with tenant issues calmly and professionally. You'll get calls at 9 p.m. about broken toilets. You'll have tenants who are late with rent every single month. You'll deal with people who treat your property like garbage and then act like you're the villain when you ask them to clean up. I had a client, Mike, who owned 3 rental properties. One of his tenants called him at midnight because the garbage disposal made a weird noise. Not broken, just making a noise. Another tenant regularly paid rent 10 days late and always had a sob story about why. His third property had a tenant who let their dog use the basement as a bathroom for months before Mike discovered it during an inspection. The cleanup and repair costs were over $8,000. Mike told me that some weeks he spent more time dealing with his rental properties than he did at his full-time job. But here's the key. Mike stayed patient and systematic. He documented everything, he followed proper legal procedures, and gradually improved his tenant screening process. 5 years later, he has great tenants and his properties have significantly appreciated. The attention to detail part is just as important as patience. Successful rental investors are meticulous about everything. They keep detailed records of all income and expenses. They document every interaction with tenants. They stay on top of local rental laws and regulations. They inspect their properties regularly and address minor problems before they become big ones. They research neighborhoods carefully before buying. They screen tenants thoroughly, checking credit, income, references, and background. If you like to set it and forget it, rental properties will eat you alive. This business rewards people who pay attention to details and stay actively involved. The third trait is the willingness to be hands-on or budget for professional management. Here's a reality check. Rental properties require ongoing attention, whether you like it or not. Whether you will handle things yourself or pay someone else to do it, both approaches can work, but you must choose one and budget accordingly. If you're going hands-on, understand what that really means. You're going to be handling tenant calls, coordinating repairs, showing properties to prospective tenants, and handling all the paperwork. You'll need to learn about landlord-tenant law in your area. You'll need to develop relationships with reliable contractors for repairs and maintenance. You'll need to market vacant properties and screen potential tenants. This takes time and energy. Plan on spending several hours per week per property on average. Some weeks, you won't have to do anything. Other weeks, you'll spend 20 hours dealing with tenant issues or preparing a property for new renters. On the flip side, if you want to hire professional property management, budget for it from the beginning. Property management companies typically charge 8 to 12% of the monthly rent. On a property that rents for $2,000 monthly, that's $160 to $240 monthly in management fees. That might not sound like much, but it adds up over time. It can turn a marginally profitable property into a money loser. Good property management companies handle tenant screening, rent collection, maintenance coordination, and legal issues. They provide a buffer between you and your tenants. But even with professional management, you're not completely hands-off. You still need to approve major repairs and capital improvements. You must still review financial reports and make strategic decisions about your properties. Let me tell you about 2 different approaches I've seen work. Tom owns 4 rental properties and manages them all himself. He's retired and he has the time to deal with tenant issues and coordinate repairs. He's developed systems for everything and actually enjoys the hands-on aspect. His property cash flow is good because he's not paying management fees. On the other hand, There's Jennifer, a doctor who owns 6 rental properties. She pays for professional management on all of them. The management fees reduce her cash flow, but she values her time and doesn't want the stress of dealing with tenant calls during her workday. Both approaches work, but they require different financial situations and personal preferences. Now, let me tell you who should not invest in rental properties. If you're financially stretched and counting on rental income to support your personal budget, don't do it. Rental income is not guaranteed. Properties sit vacant, tenants stop paying, and major repairs eat up months of rent. If losing that rental income would put you in financial trouble, you're not ready. If you're impatient and looking for quick returns, rental properties will disappoint you. This is a slow wealth building strategy that requires years to show significant results. You're setting yourself up for failure if you expect passive income without effort or involvement. Even with professional management, rental properties require attention and decision making. If you don't have time to learn about real estate markets, rental laws, and property management basics, wait until you do. Ignorance in this business is expensive. Think twice if you're not emotionally prepared to deal with difficult people and stressful situations. Being a landlord means dealing with people's problems regularly. Let me tell you which rental properties are perfect for you. You might be ready if you have stable finances with substantial cash reserves and you're not counting on rental income for your personal expenses. If you have realistic expectations about returns and understand this is a long-term strategy, rental properties could be a good option for you. Suppose you want to be hands-on with management or budget for professional help. In that case, you're thinking about this correctly. Suppose you have the time and interest to learn about real estate investing and stay involved in your investments. In that case, rental properties might be a great fit. You have the right temperament for this business if you can handle stress and difficult situations without losing sleep. Here's what successful rental property investing actually looks like. You buy properties in good neighborhoods with strong rental demand. You put substantial money down and keep significant reserves. You screen your tenants carefully and treat them professionally. You maintain your properties properly and address problems quickly. You keep detailed records and you follow all legal requirements. You reinvest profits into additional properties or improvements. Over time, your tenants pay down your mortgage while your properties appreciate in value. After 15 or 20 years, you own valuable real estate with little or no debt. That's when the real wealth shows up. Let me share a success story to show you what's possible with the right approach. My client David started with one rental property 15 years ago. He had $40,000 saved up and bought a $150,000 duplex. He lived on one side and rented out the other side. The rental income helped him save money faster. 3 years later, he bought another property. Then another 3 years after that, he reinvested all his rental profits and gradually built a portfolio of 6 properties. Today, those properties are worth over $2 million combined. He owns about $600,000 in mortgages, giving him over $1.4 million in equity. The monthly rental income covers all his expenses with money left over. But here's the key. David was patient, financially stable from the beginning, and treated his properties like a business. He also made mistakes along the way and learned from them. He had bad tenants, significant repairs, and stressful situations, but he stuck with his plan and didn't panic when things got difficult. That's what successful rental property investing looks like. Before you make any decisions about rental property investing, ask yourself these honest questions. Do you have at least 25% down payment, plus substantial reserves without touching your emergency fund or retirement savings? Are you prepared for this investment to take 10 to 15 years to show significant returns? Do you have the time and willingness to manage properties or properly budget for professional management? Can you handle tenant problems, repair issues, and vacancy periods without losing sleep or making emotional decisions? Do you understand the local rental market and landlord-tenant laws in your area? Are you buying rental properties as part of a long-term wealth building plan, not because you need immediate income? If you answered yes to all of those questions, rental property investing might be right for you. If you answered no to any of them, you're probably not ready yet. And that's okay. There's no shame in waiting until your situation improves. In fact, waiting until you're genuinely ready is the smart move. I'd much rather see you wait 2 years and succeed than jump in too early and struggle. Here's my advice if you want to invest in rental properties someday. Start by getting your own financial house in order. Pay off high interest debt, build up your emergency fund, and increase your savings rate. Learn everything you can about real estate investing. Read books, attend local real estate investment meetings, and talk to successful investors. Start looking at potential rental properties in your area, even if you're not ready to buy. Get familiar with prices, rental rates, and neighborhood trends. If you want some real estate exposure without the hands-on commitment, consider starting with real estate investment trusts or real estate crowdfunding. When you are ready to buy your first rental property, start small. Don't try to build a real estate empire overnight. Buy one property, learn the business, make your mistakes on a small scale, and then expand gradually. Remember, rental property investing can build significant wealth over time for the right people in the right situations. But it's not for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. There are many other ways to build wealth and secure your financial future. The most important thing is to be honest with yourself about whether your rental properties fit your situation, goals, or personality. Don't let social media success stories or late night infomercials convince you to make a decision that could hurt your financial future. Take your time, do your research, and make sure you're truly ready before you take the plunge. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what questions you have about rental property investing in the comments. Are you considering getting started, or have you already invested in rentals? I'd love to hear about your experiences and help you answer any questions you might have. If you're in the Maryland area and want to have an honest conversation about whether rental properties make sense for your specific situation and goals, feel free to contact me. I'm here to help you make smart real estate decisions, even if that means telling you to wait or consider other options. Remember, the best investment is the one that fits your situation and helps you reach your long-term financial goals safely. Sometimes that's rental properties, sometimes that's something completely different. The key is making informed decisions based on your real situation, not what worked for someone else or what sounds exciting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.